Just waiting for the beamer. Okay, perfect. It's nice to be here in this place. So my name is Tobias Löwenhofer. I'm working for the CEMA. Yeah, we are sponsoring this event with the drinks and the beers, and we hope you enjoy everything tonight. So, microphone, yeah, better? Great. Okay, so I hope you enjoyed this evening here. And yeah, what we are doing the boring stuff in IT. We are providing IT infrastructure services. So at the moment in the market, we are doing a lot of Google to Office 365 migrations, and we are doing the boring stuff. That means we are taking care on infrastructure services, on licenses, on managing servers, clients, and so on. But there's also another side what we are doing. We're providing data center services with Microsoft. And today Microsoft announced the German data center is available. So on that we have a specialist here. This is Julia. And Julia is showing you something really cool, which is machine learning on Azure, on the data center which Microsoft has. And yeah, please come up to the stage, Julia.
Hi there. Well, I'm Julia, and I'm a technical evangelist at Microsoft, but normally I'm not doing the cool stuff like talking at meetups like today. But normally I do also, like he said, the boring stuff. I do cloud infrastructure design, so if you want to bring your solution to Azure, I help you, even startups or small companies. But today I want to show you the capabilities of Azure Machine Learning, which is a service of Azure, a really big platform. So what I want to show you today, or what I want to do with you, we want to find out if any one of you would have survived the Titanic. So we will do this using a binary classification model, and I want to show you how to do this on Microsoft Azure. What we do is Microsoft Machine Learning, Azure Machine Learning is available here on studio.azureml.net. This is our Azure Machine Learning Studio, where you can easily create any experiment. So it's just a browser tool. You don't need to install anything. You don't need any programming skills, because you can just drag and drop things, but I will show you that. And yeah, it's really easy. You can either start from a blank experiment or use like some of these samples to get started or just to play around. And you even don't need any Azure credits or your credit card. You really can just start playing around. So I prepared something. This is our experiment with which we will predict if you would survive the Titanic. And I will go through this with you to just show you what I have done there. So in machine learning, everything starts with data. So we need data. And here I have a Titanic data set, which is available online, so you can play around afterwards with it. And I just used it, got it from here. You can also upload your local data from your computer or something like this. And you can just drag and drop it to your workspace. And if you have some data box like this one, you can always click with the right click on it and click visualize. And then you get insights in your data, and it looks like this. So we see, okay, we have many passengers on the Titanic, with passenger IDs, with names, gender, age, and so on. And of course, the most important thing, if they survived or not. And what is really cool that you can easily get any insights in your data and how the distribution of the values looks like. When you click on a column, for example, on survived, you can see this nice visualization on the right. So we see, okay, in this data set, we have much more people who haven't survived the Titanic than people who survived. Okay, what have I done next? Well, you have many steps here, and this is just data preparation stuff, like excluding some columns, because we don't need the name, because I hope it's not depending on your name if you survive the Titanic. And we also do some other stuff like renaming columns, or like here this missing value scrubber. This is just what do you want to do with any row where is like a value missing, like the age, or maybe the name is not known from this person. So in this case, I just replaced this missing values with the median, but you can also choose another value. But now let's come to the more interesting part of this experiment, the actual machine learning part. Well, I hope you're all a little bit into machine learning, and what the first step is, you split the data into training data and testing data. And if you click this box, well, of course you can drag and drop this all here around. If you click this box, you can specify the parameters always on the right side. And here I said, okay, I want to use 70% of the data for the training of my model and 30% for the testing. And here you can see, okay, there are 2 train model boxes. So that means I trained 2 models with 2 different algorithms. The 2-class boosted decision tree and the 2-class decision forest. Okay, why have I done this? Well, I don't know which algorithm is the better one for my experiment, so I just tried both, and I wanted to compare the results. So yeah, I just took both. And afterwards, you can score the model. That means you just take your trained model and evaluate it with the 30% of the testing data. And this is what you have like always. We can right-click and visualize. And then you see something like this. You have the data set, as you have seen in the beginning, and you have these 2 added columns. The scored labels, so what they scored, like if they survive or not, and the scored probabilities. In this case, I set the threshold to 0.5, so that means if it's higher than 50%, it's 1, so you survived. And the same thing I have done for the other thing, so score model, and now the interesting part, evaluate model. This is a box with which you can compare 2 models and see which one was maybe better than the other one. So I also right-click and visualize. This is like really the key thing of the studio. You can see this. You see the area under the curve for both models. And you can even see other values like the accuracy of the model or 2 positives, false negatives, and so on. And after you take a close look at that, you will see, okay, maybe one model is better than the other one. And wouldn't it be great to just publish this at a web service, like an API, and use it on my homepage such that all of you can enter your data and see if you would survive the Titanic? So this is what you can do really easily in Azure ML Studio. So I just deleted one of these things, and the other thing I just saved. You really can just right-click and say, okay, I want to save my trained model, and I saved it to Titanic trained model. And to publish this as a web service, you need from the left-hand side this web service thing, and then you can drag and drop these 2 things here, web service output and web service input. And then you can just specify what you want to have. Like, in this case, we want to know if we would survive, of course, and maybe also the probability. And as input, you can also specify what you want to input to get to know this, like your gender, your age, maybe the class with which you travel, and so on. And when you specified all this, you can just click on this little button at the ground, deploy web service. And what happens then is just this. You get to this page, and you have really your published web service, and you can use it like everywhere. It's just a REST API that you can use, and you can even test it easily here. If you click test, you get all the web service inputs you specified before. For example, here you have your passenger class, your gender, your age, and so on. That's what you can use with the web API. So, and now I promise you that we will find out if you would have survived the Titanic. So you can just grab your smartphones and get to this site to find out if you would have survived. These guys created really a really cool web interface for this API to use it. Yeah, so we can take a look. So.
Great, thank you, Julia. So if you want to try, if you have survived, please just come to our booth there. And if you want to take a deeper look in a very special thing, we have the Microsoft HoloLens also here. Just come to us later. Have fun tonight. Bye.